I'm AJ DiPastena, a Florida realtor right here in Panama City Beach for Seashore Realty. And today we have Mike McLendon, and we're going to talk about home inspections today. Mike, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to get you to tell a little bit about this.
Yeah, that's great. Well, let's dive right into it. So I have 10 questions, and the first question most people ask is, what makes Florida home inspections different from inspections in other states?
I think probably the biggest emphasis we have here is because we're so susceptible to high winds and severe weather. So our building codes and standards are significantly more stringent here in Florida than they are in other parts of the country. And so I think as through the years, I've been doing home inspections in the Panama City area for about a little over 25 years. I've noticed the frequency. It is almost a common thing now. It is unusual for homes to be sold or bought or sold without having a home inspection.
Right, that makes total sense. I mean, you want to be aware of, any issues you might have with that home.
Correct.
So what is the most common issues, that being said, that you find with homes in Florida?
Probably the single most biggest issue we are going to run into was wood rot. We live in a high humidity, high moisture area, so we have a lot of water. It doesn't matter whether you're on the coast, you're inland, we get a lot of water. And not all wood rot is devastating, but it's just really, really common. Probably the other biggest thing that we are really focused on and we see a lot of is water intrusion issues with that too. And same thing, they can be related with rot and those things like that. But again, because of the high winds, because of the volume of rain and things that we can get, water intrusion, water pushing through cracks, pushing through places like that can be a real common issue in our areas.
Okay. Makes total sense. I mean, as far as hurricanes and stuff goes, and rain just in general, it's bound to happen.
Yeah, I mean, even in our normal summer thunderstorm patterns, I mean, some of these afternoon boomers are pretty significant storms.
That's very true.
Yeah,
very true. Okay. All right. So how does wind mitigation play a role in home inspections and insurance savings?
A wind mitigation is a critical factor to have, because what a lot of people don't understand is you do not have to have a wind mitigation to get insurance.
Okay.
On any home. You can get insured without a wind mitigation. However, a wind mitigation, and if your house has certain structural things on that house, a wind mitigation can provide thousands of dollars of what the insurance company call wind credits. Okay. So it will significantly reduce how much you pay for your insurance policy every year.
Okay, duly noted. That's a highlight for that one for sure.
Big time.
Wow,
yeah, big time.
All right, and are there specific inspection items buyers should always ask for coastal areas?
Honestly, I think of Florida as pretty much a coastal area. I mean, honestly, even inland. So again, as far as specific items, probably the closer you get to a coast, you're going to have higher wind issues, and you're going to have higher moisture issues. So especially people that have some health issues, many people have children that are susceptible to mold and everything. One of the services that many home inspectors can provide is mold testing for a house. And that's where we simply take air samples throughout a house, and it'll send them to a laboratory, and you'll get a report back reporting on the levels of mold spores, whether they're healthy or whether they're unhealthy. Okay. So I would say that the closer you get to the coastlines and stuff in your coastal areas, perhaps the frequency of those tend to go up.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Very good. So that being said, what is the biggest red flag you've seen during your inspections?
Again, the biggest red flag that we'll see when we go visual is water stains. Water stains are the big. When we're going through homes, and a water stain can be old, it can be years old, but from a home inspector's point of view, we don't know that. Right. We get 3 hours
Right.
in a home. We get one shot. We don't know the history, and but when we see water stains, we see discolorations like that. We have specific tools in my company. We use infrared cameras.
Okay.
We use moisture meters and these kind of things. But all they can tell us is that this is the condition that as it is today.
Okay.
While we're here.
Gotcha.
But those could be a red flag for you to go back to the sellers and try to get any history. Do they know what caused this? Oh, yes, we had a leak back in such and such storm and we had this or that fixed. That's great. If they can show the progression of that.
Now, would something like that being said, would that be something they would have to have paperwork on, or is that just a random conversation, or?
Honestly, it depends on the deal.
Okay.
A paper trail is always better. A paper trail is always better. But a lot of it is the relationship between the realtors and the buyers and sellers involved. Because, there are very competent do-it-yourselfers out there, and they may not have much of a paper trail. And so, again, for the most part, if whether you have a paper trail, if they're telling you we did this and that, a lot of times there's some visual evidence. Oh, yeah, we had a patch on the roof. Well, your home inspector can check. Oh, sure enough, we can see this area has been a patch, or we had to have this repaired. Yes, we can see that this wood is newer looking than some of the other wood. So there's also other visual things too that can corroborate, what they're telling you.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So what's the difference between a general home inspection and a 4-point inspection required by insurance?
That's a really critical question. Honestly, because we have people that want to just get a 4-point and just get a wind mitigation when they're buying a house and not do a full home inspection. We'll do what the customer wants. But what people need to understand that a 4-point inspection, what we're doing is we are providing data to an insurance company.
Right.
That's the point of it.
That's right.
They want to know how old it is, what condition it's in, when it was replaced last. A 4-point touches the surface of a house. A home inspection, a full home inspection, goes much deeper. It goes much deeper, and it's going to carry, frankly, a lot more responsibility in our part. When we do just a 4-point for somebody, it's very clear that there's really nothing that comes behind that. This is just telling the insurance company the air conditioner blew cold air. It was replaced in such and such a date. The water heater is this old, and all the faucets came on, and things like that. So it's a very light inspection, just designed to give some basic information to the insurance company. So if you're buying a home, we obviously strongly recommend that you get a home inspection, and of course through that home inspection we can also complete the 4-point form.
Okay.
At the same time.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
All right. So how should buyers prepare for an inspection to get the most out of it?
Buyer doesn't really have to do a lot to prepare for a home inspection. They're just showing up and going to get their report.
Right.
Sellers can actually do a lot to prepare their home when they know that they have a home inspection coming up.
Okay.
And and those things can be address any known issues. First of all, your average home buyer does not know a lot about houses. And so what that means is there's something that could be an issue that's very small. But that buyer sees it, and they often immediately can jump to worst case scenario.
That's very true.
Peeling paint over here. Oh my gosh, there's been a huge leak there or something, and it's just old paint.
Right.
Maybe all of that. So a seller can actually stave off a lot of issues, a lot of anxiety and stuff like that. Fixing known issues. Do a walkthrough for your house, and or at a bare minimum, disclose known issues and things like that. Clean the place up. Have good clear access to everything. Home inspectors going everywhere, and so have clean access. If you've got 9 million tons of stuff in your garage and nobody can walk in it, it's hard to inspect that.
It's very true.
And and these kind of things. So a seller can actually do some things, some prep things for that prior to the home inspector showing up, that can ease the process and perhaps ease the whole flow of the
Yeah.
deal, going at the same time.
That being said, do y'all have like a pre-checklist when someone reaches out to you? Kind of like, hey, here's a heads up on some things that you might want to move and stuff like
We
that?
do, and not to get into too much marketing here,
Yeah.
but we actually have an entire program we call Ready for Sale,
Okay, great.
which is actually a pre-listing inspection
Okay.
that we can do for the seller of the house. We can go in and do a full, and it gives them essentially that checklist
Okay.
for addressing a lot
Yeah.
of these things long before they even get to the point where they have a buyer coming in and look at the house.
Do you recommend buyers to attend the inspection in person, and why or why not?
I have a very different philosophy on that than other home inspectors. Um, we always invite the buyer to come. They are welcome to come. And our philosophy is this is the biggest purchase they're ever going to make in their life. This inspection is for them.
That's right.
It absolutely, it's for them. So if they want to be there, they are welcome to be there. Now, on a practical basis, people say, do they get in your way and does it slow you down? The answer is yes, sometimes it does,
don't want to talk to you.
yeah, and things like that. But in an ideal world, is what we would say the ideal thing. If you want to be at the inspection, we recommend say come by in about the last 30 minutes or so as we're wrapping up.
Okay.
Because it'll give us time to finish up what we're doing, but then we'll take the time to walk through our home inspection with you, walk you around the house, and not only tell you what we found, but show you this so you can kind of see it in the context and stuff. But we're very open like that, and different companies have different philosophies. So either way is neither right or wrong. It's just how you want to set up. We tend to be very service oriented, so we actually always let them know they're invited and they're welcome to come.
Very good. Okay. So last but not least, if a major issue is found, what option do buyers typically have?
There are so many options out there. And a lot of it, as a real estate agent, will depend on, first of all, how the contract's written.
Right.
If it's an as-is contract or things like that, then sometimes there's not a lot of leeway on that. But typically, for the most part, if we run into a major issue, it becomes a negotiation issue after that. Some contracts are written up with a specific repair dollar amount in them. So as long as whatever issues that we come up with falls within that dollar amount, well, that's already covered under their prior negotiations.
Right.
If the issues that we find exceed that dollar amount, then oftentimes they can go, the buyers and sellers will get together and go, well, this is minor, we don't care too much about this or that, but this makes us nervous, so we want this, A, B, and C fixed, And then sometimes if it's a single major issue, at that point, sometimes buyers go, this is more than we anticipated. And of course, that's the whole purpose of a home inspection, is to give them that information. But even on the seller side, if your home inspector ends up finding a major issue, ultimately, if they're going to sell that home, they're going to have to address it. I mean, we live in a world and in our industry where they're required by statute to report known issues. So even if they didn't know about it before, they know now. And so they're going to have to address it one way or the other. Oftentimes, the way they address this issue is just with compensation. They go, well, we'll reduce the selling price, and then negotiate back that. So there's a variety of options and things to do like that. One of the things that we've introduced in the last couple of years that everybody has found it has long been needed in our industry is we can actually provide everybody with a repair estimate based on our report. And so either side of the transaction can ask for it, and it's an outside company that we use, but it'll provide you sort of a line-by-line repair cost estimate of it. So that at least gives people real numbers to talk about, versus sometimes you have a few things and they go, oh, we'll just knock $20,000 when there's really only $3,000 or $4,000 worth of debt. So it gives more tools, and it's like anything. The more information you have, the more informed all the decisions are going to be on both sides of the deal.
Thank you so much for coming in, brother.
It's been a
Appreciate it.
pleasure.
Thank you
for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this is why a home inspection is so important. And it's not just about getting a home inspection, but having someone that has a great reputation and that really knows what they're talking about when it comes to home inspection. You know, after all, this is your investment. This is your future investment that you're going to be doing here in Panama City Beach and this beautiful beach that we have here. So thanks for visiting us today. And I'm AJ DiPastena with Seashore Realty right here in Panama City Beach, Florida.